Yay, here we go. Okay, so to recap, we have been using Photopea, which is kind of like Photoshop, to try and take our picture and turn our picture into a stamp. After you do that, you have to share it with me online so I can print out a paper copy. And then on the paper copy, you go excruciatingly slow. Most of you are doing this. And you are outlining exactly what has been printed out. Don't add things like, yeah, I know I don't have my face here. I'm not going to add it. Outline with a regular pencil exactly what you have. And it's going to take you a long time, but you don't actually have to think about it. So just deal with it. And then you outline. Okay? Once you get it totally outlined, this is weird, but you take your face, you flip it over. It's like a cooking show where I've pre-done it. And you don't let the paper wiggle. Don't let it wiggle. And you push really hard. And you color the whole back. And you don't let it wiggle and you don't let it move. And then you get a really, really light, like you can't even hardly see this, right? Really light smudgy impression of your lines. And they're going to smudge and go bye-bye. And it's going to make you really mad. So the next step is really annoying and repetitive again, because you're going to re-outline with a Sharpie. And as you re-outline with a Sharpie, this time you also color in. And as you're coloring in on the rubber printing block, the Sharpie is going to get clogged and you're going to get really annoyed. So you're going to take a scrap piece of paper and you're going to do little circles. For some reason, lines don't work great, but circles revive Sharpies and get the powder off of it. And then you could keep coloring in. And when you are done, I'm trying to find one. Okay. When you are done, your block should look almost exactly like the printout. Should look almost exactly the same, except I don't know if you guys noticed, it's the mirror image. So it's pretty much exactly the same. It's just flipped around. Once you get to that step, it's going to get dangerous. You ready? So here we go. The next step is to carve. And to carve, we're going to be using carving tools. And they have a handle and a V-shaped blade. And I'm going to ask you to take the handle color that corresponds to your table. So green, friends, you're going to take a green handle. Red, you take a red handle. Makes sense, right? And when you carve with these, it's really hard to see. Like I'm zooming all around so you can't really tell. But the blade is shaped like the letter V. This is like Sesame Street. Today's lesson is brought to you by the letter V. And when you carve with the bottom pointy part of the V, which is really hard to see. So it's that part, okay? If you try to flip it over, it's going to get all weird and you'll figure it out real quick. So bottom of the letter V. So I'm going to take the bottom of the letter V, and I'm not starting with my eyes. I'm not starting with anything very fancy that if I mess up, I'm going to cry. So I think for me, I'm going to start like with my shirt. So you're going to put the bottom of the V in, and you're going to slowly glide across the gray part. I'm switching it up. You're not carving the black. You're going to leave that, and you're going to carve the gray. Now, a couple things. I'm never going to cut the hand I'm carving with. I'm a righty. Stranger things have happened, but I'm probably not going to cut this hand. But in kindergarten, my teacher told me it'd be easier if I hold my paper when I'm writing. Do you guys do that sometimes? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but guess what? If I'm carving and I'm holding my block, because I'm used to holding the paper, and I slip, ow! I'm going to poke my other hand. So when you're carving, I want you to try to put your hand down below and carve away from your hand, which means you're probably going to have to turn your block. So I tend to always carve this way. I go on a diagonal and I just keep turning my block, turning my block, turning my block. Do not carve at your face. Do not carve at your hand. So you're always turning your block and carving away, turning your block and carving away. So if I slip, there's nothing here. I'm not going to get hurt. The other thing I want to tell you is we are now carving something that's rubber. You don't actually have to push hard. If you're not pushing hard, I actually had somebody last week who did slip and she poked herself and she did not get cut because she was not pushing hard. The only major issue I ever had was somebody who was pushing so hard, I don't know why, and had their hand there and they slipped. You're not going to get in trouble if you poke yourself, but please let me know so we can wash it and get you a Band-Aid. I'm not starting with anything that's really detailed yet. I'm going to work my way there as I get better at carving. And as I carve, I get these little wormies. So I pick up my wormy and I tap it on the table. I make a little pile. And please, oh my God, at the end of art class, don't push those on the floor. Don't leave them on the table. Just use your hands, or you can use the little hand broom. What is that called? The dustpan. And get these into the garbage. Wormies in the garbage. Okay. Wormies in the garbage. Thank you. If you've ever mowed the lawn or seen somebody mow the lawn, they usually kind of outline the lawn first, and then they go back, and it takes them like an hour. Yes, this is probably going to take you 2 or 3 art classes. And they just go line after line after line next to where they just mowed. You're going to have to do that to carve out all of the gray area. So you carve and carve and carve and carve. And it's really annoying, but you'll get there eventually. I'm going to flash forward. This is me with glasses and hair up. This is me with hair down, no glasses. And it looks really scary, but it's going to print pretty cool. So I carved out all the gray, and I wanted to show you this because it looks funky. It looks weird. I have fingerprints here. That's okay. This one looks really weird, but it's still going to print really good. So this is actually going to be the end result of your block. This is not your artwork. This is your block. So if your block looks funky, you're doing it right. Last thing I want to say, when you're carving, there is zero talking. Do not talk to somebody who's carving. Do not talk if you are carving. Number one, you could slip and poke yourself, but probably what I've seen more often is people like, wait, what did she say? And they like look up while they're carving and they like carve their nose right off. So when you are carving, please do not talk. I actually don't mind, since you're my advanced class. You are allowed to bring in headphones. I have headphones you can borrow. You can use your Chromebook to get a playlist, your device. I'd rather you actually listen to music so you can block people out while you're carving for the next 2 or 3 art classes, okay? So bring your headphones in. Carving, no talking, please, because I don't want you to slip. And speaking of carving, these blocks are double-sided. They do get kind of yucky, but they're double-sided. So don't carve deep at all, because maybe, just maybe, we're going to do something with the other side. Hint, hint, hint. So try to keep your other side without any holes in carving, okay? It'll get yucky with the Sharpie and the pencil, but try to keep it nice. Any questions? All right, you guys are fabulous. I'm going to pause this up.